So what you're looking at is my Wilkinson sword 7-day set. I think these are sometimes called Empire sets. But as you can see, it comes in this rather beautiful Art Deco styling case. I'm not sure about the age. I've read somewhere online 1930s, but I think they did produce them up until the 1950s. Very, very handsome. So inside you have the Wilkinson sword crest at the back there, a little bit faded, but this blue material lined case. You've got the razor, the strop, and 7 blades, one for each day of the week, and there is a spare popped under there as well. So starting with the razor, it's this rather unusual looking head, and the reason it looks like this is because it includes a roller for a smooth action on the face, but also an automatic stropping mechanism. So we'll come back to that in a second, but these blades are rather interesting because they are hollow ground blades. So let me pick out the spare and show you what that looks like. So this is the blades themselves, and that is a chunk of same sort of blade you'd get in a straight razor. So just a hollow ground blade, but each one is incorporated into its own holder. Apparently hollow ground blades, like a straight razor, do degrade, and if you use them day after day after day, the edge will obviously degrade, and they need time to rest between shaves apparently, and this works on that concept. So each one comes in its own holder, which is labelled with the day of the week. This is Sunday, and it has this neat little clip that fits into the razor, and there's the blade itself. Now I have sharpened all of these with 3000 grit, 8000 grit, and then a pass on a slate, and then stropping on the strop itself, and each one of these blades passes the hanging hair test, so they are shave ready, and I have shaved with them. They do work. I've not removed the tarnishing though. They are clean, they've been soaked in alcohol, so they are clean and sterile, but I haven't removed the tarnishing because it's part of the character. Why would you want a vintage razor that looks new? And likewise on the razor head itself, I've not removed this tarnishing from around the handle because it looks lovely. It's kind of like a gunmetal finish with age. So they've been kept as they are. Now the blades snap into the razor head like this. So being very careful not to slice your fingers off. That hole on the bottom of the razor holder goes on here. You twist 90 degrees and it snaps in, and at that point you can see that it flaps about. That's so that you can engage with the strop. I'll show you the strop. That lives at the bottom of the box, and it lives in this rather handsome little clip that serves as a rest for the razor. And this is a beautiful piece of vintage leather, and this is actually horse leather. It's a leather they call shell, which is actually from the butt area of the horse, and it's very hard to produce, but it does, when you tan it, makes a leather that's very tough, perfect for strops, and it doesn't crease. So this is fine being rolled up and stored in the case. And hopefully you can see at the bottom, perhaps not in this light, but again it says Wilkinson sword, insert strop guard side, shell horsehide. That's a beautiful piece of vintage leather. So to strop this, I'll just show you. I'll move the camera angle slightly down here. You fasten this loop over some immovable object. You insert the strop where indicated in the razor head, hold the end, and then you pass it backwards and forwards, and the head automatically flip-flops. You're always stropping in the right direction. So you do that before and after each shave. Before, just to sharpen it, and then after, just to clean it. Now let me just move this tripod back again, and I'll show you how to engage the razor head. So that stropping mechanism still works perfectly, and the strop has been restored. That's been oiled on the what they call the flesh side of the leather to keep that supple, and the grain side, where the stropping actually takes place, has had multiple coats of an oxide paste to keep that abrasive, because these are carbon steel blades, so they are quite hard to sharpen. Once they've got an edge, they keep it nicely, but it's quite an aggressive strop, this one. So that has been all cleaned and restored, and that is in lovely condition. So to engage the cutting head on the razor, you've got this button at the back. If you push it, opens and then closes. Two little teeth at the front that hold that razor. That's now locked in position. And then to stop the head flipping, you tighten this knurl on the back and that locks it into the shaving position. So it's no longer flipping and flopping as it was for stropping. Now it is a straight razor, but it's also a safety razor. So the distance between this roller and the cutting edge can be adjusted to give you a more aggressive or a less aggressive shave. And as you twist this knurled button at the back, you can change that. So anti-clockwise moves the head closer to the roller for a more aggressive shave, and clockwise pulls it back to give you a bit more distance between that and the guard. And it's about 8 rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So somewhere about 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is in the middle for a nice comfortable shave. The shaving angle is not quite that you'd have for a safety razor. It's more like that because you've got to deal with this as though it is a straight razor. It's just a single chunk of hollow ground steel. So the shaving angle is something like that. Not quite with that touching your face, but almost. And it's a very comfortable shave because of that roller. So there we are. There is my 7-day set, complete with all 7 blades, plus the spare. Each blade shave sharp and the strop nicely restored.